What's going on, people? Welcome to the Man City preview. Today, I'm here with D, fresh from a nice holiday, looking nice and tanned. We've got
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Stan,
man. We're back.
got the most famous overseas, over the pond Palace fan going right now. T, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? Doing good, man. Back in my humble settings, but ready to roll on to another match.
Yeah,
We're all back to reality, man. Even me, like literally, I just got in right now. Like, we're all back to reality. We're all back to reality.
Yep.
But before we start, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the noti bell, all of those good stuffs. So it was a mad week, 6 days. What was it? The first one was a win in the FA Cup, which seems like a long time ago now, but was probably the most important out of the three. Then we was treated to, I won't even call it a draw. I'll call it a Franca remontada midweek. And then Saturday, we was in the trenches, as Dino said, and we grabbed a 2-1 win against Brighton, which has now set us up for the rest of the season. And we have Man City away, 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
Live on
early
BT
one.
Sport, the early kickoff. I think we've sold out our allocation, even though it's only 1,500. But yeah, I'm going to go to you, T, first. Are you going to give them give us a little review on how your trip was and how you're feeling now?
Man, trip was fantastic. Got to see an amazing away day. Even though didn't come away with 3 points, still got to see a really great atmosphere and experience. Got to witness France's first goal for Palace, which was pretty dope. And then, of course, the Brighton match at home was yes, it was fantastic. Big win, tough win too, to have that many guys missing with the red cards and pulling out a tough win, but getting to hang out with you lot and experience things was special, man, for sure.
Yeah. So Stan, in the biggest link ups in the northern hemisphere, what's the vibe like in Toronto?
It's very good. It's a great time to be a Palace fan, right? It's probably the best we've been. Well, it's probably the best team we've ever had, I would say, if you look at it, and best we've been for a long time. Things have definitely, definitely on the up, and what a week, right? I mean, like you said, Fulham, and then Southampton, and then obviously beating that lot twice in one season, first time since the 30s, and watching Lerma absolutely give it to Lewis Dunk as well, like throughout the whole game. I don't know if you guys have seen the clips, but he was shithousing him all game. Was brilliant. I have a question for Tito. Tasty jerk. How was the jerk pork? I've heard like rave reviews about that jerk pork. I've not tried it yet myself, but I've heard it's like
10 out of 10 would recommend, my friend. 10 out of 10. It was really good, man.
I'll be going next time.
I was thinking all about jerk chicken at first, but then my man Lou was like, "Yo, you gotta try the jerk pork, though." So
so Louis, you've had it as well, okay?
Yeah, Louis put me on.
I'll be honest, the guy kept saying 20 minutes for chicken, and we'd already been in there for 45 minutes. So at that point, it was
hot.
Like
it was
hot as hell. But yeah, finally, the youngest boss man, the guy who makes everything happen,
boss man
holiday.
Yeah.
Me and D still unbeaten for every single game we've been together. We're gonna be at Wembley together.
We're not,
We will go.
I didn't go to the Arsenal game with you.
Which one? No. But that one don't count. Yeah,
I was with my brother.
Yeah.
Avid Palace fan.
But yeah, D, I remember about 2-3 weeks ago, you was like, "This is the biggest week." Then this is the biggest week.
Yeah.
Tell me, how you feeling now?
I'll be honest, it's not the biggest week. I'm more calm. In terms of the league spots, it's still a massive game because we're only 5 points behind.
5 points off 7th.
Yeah, and we've got a game in hand as well, which I know you don't like hearing, but we have got a game in hand, and it's against Newcastle. But I don't think it's the biggest week. I don't know how to feel about this game because every other game I felt like we need to win. This game, technically, do we need to win if we get a point?
is that enough? Are we still in that running? Because there's enough games to be played. So I don't know if it's as significant. It'll be nice to continue the away streak. Of course, we've got like two big talking points, well, one big talking point with the defense because of the suspension from last game. And yeah, I'm feeling quite positive about it. It feels like having a full week of rest and preparation for the game, plus Wembley as well, it seems like this week they've done. It's made me comfortable because I think that's where Glasner does his work best when he's got that whole week schedule, which we've got now. So I think Newcastle game would be a bit more of a concern because of the quick turnaround rather than the City game, who, let's be honest, they're not an awful side, but they're not the same City this season. If you watch,
bro, they're still no joke though. Like then they got some serious players. They got
serious players, but I wouldn't say they're no.
They're also
joke.
missing. They're also missing some serious players.
They are.
Yeah,
actually, that is true.
They have, we've seen it many times already so far this season where they've dropped points. They haven't looked that great. They haven't looked the same City. So I do think if there's a chance to beat them, which we're beating City sides much better than the City side that we're facing, I think this is a good opportunity for Palace to step up and do what we do best. I don't know how much of impact, only time will tell, which Guehi not being there will have, and we'll see with Lacroix. Hopefully he's fit.
Yeah, I think Saturday is a big game in terms of we've only got 8 games left in the league. So listen, there's only a maximum of 10 games left, so we can kind of leave it all out on the pitch most games. City on Saturday, it's a funny one because they're really out of form, and if we're talking stylistically, they kind of suit how we set up as a team. Really Stan, how much of a miss will Guehi and Nketiah be for you?
I think Guehi will be a huge miss. I think Nketiah as well maybe doesn't start for us, but he has proved himself to become that option off the bench that can, that. I think I listened to this on another podcast, on the Winging It podcast, I think it was, and they were saying that like these players now they've learned to play in the system. Obviously, it took Nketiah quite a long time, but he's learned to play in the system, so he really does come on and add value off the bench. So we will miss him as well. Gay, I mean, listen, he's the captain. He's an England international. He's one of the best defenders in the Premier League, in my opinion, right? So probably one of the best in Europe. So yeah, he's going to be a miss, but we still have a very good back three, even without him. So let's see.
Yeah. I definitely think Nketiah's come on leaps and bounds, and credit to D for sticking by him the whole time. I think he's been a really good asset off the bench. Even before he got sent off, he looked dangerous. I could have easily got a shot off instead of going down, which I think was a soft yellow, but I'm not going to complain about that. T, for the City side, where do you think they're most inclined to hurt us? With Erling Haaland out, what are you most worried about Saturday with the City team?
Omar Marmoush, without a doubt. He is playing ever since he got there. I mean, he was playing lights out before he got the City. But he's been playing really, really well for them whenever he's come on and played.
Where was he before City?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Yeah. Funny enough, Eintracht Frankfurt of all places. But so he's really been playing lights out since he's been there, and that's when he's been coming on, in a lot of substitute appearances behind Haaland. Now with Haaland out for what looks like could be the remainder of the season, he's going to get a chance to really step into the spotlight. And I think of everybody, he's the one that immediately comes to mind for me that could give us some problems.
Yeah, D, I was talking about City being stylistically probably the type of team we like to play against. Do you agree with that? And do you think we can hurt them in transitions? Is that where we will get most of our joy?
Yeah, 100%. I think they're going to be keeping the ball and they're going to try to break us down. It's the only question for Palace right now is, how good can we be defensively with Guehi not being there? And also, let's see with Lacroix. Lacroix should be fit.
And Richards, because he wasn't at open training as well.
Yeah, he was at open training as well.
But Richards is training because they had the pictures that just came out. And he's
was he training today?
Yeah, they had the pictures that came out today. He was in training.
And I did read about Lacroix. There's a protocol for him to play on Saturday. He wasn't allowed to play contact football. So
he's got to have a return to play.
Let's assume we'll have a fully fit squad apart from Riyad, Decore, Guehi, and Nketiah. What where do you think?
I think defensively, even when we've seen it in the past where Nathaniel Klein will come in, and not necessarily this season, but last season, and we'll still be fine because tactically, Glasner sets us up in a particular way, which, of course, individual talent does matter, but I think as a team, we know how to defend, and I think we'll frustrate City. Well, as long as we don't concede early, we'll be able to frustrate them, and then spaces should open up behind. Look, City on the counter, City defensively so far this season, they've been suspect. They haven't been as good. They've signed a few players over in the January transfer window, but despite that, they still haven't reached that levels, and that's been one of their flaws. And even against Man United, the most recent game, that derby was absolutely boring. They didn't create that many chances.
That was like watching paint dry.
Exactly. And how do Man United play? Man United play similar system to Palace do, in terms of having a back three that can convert to a back five. So I think Glasner watching that game and watching City so far, I think we are able to frustrate them. And the most important thing is, yes, Nketiah is a miss. I believe he'll be a miss as an option off the bench. However, Mateta's there, Sarr there, Eze's there. So all of these players, and Adam Wharton, all of these players should be able to contribute us creating chances, which we've done. I think this game on paper suits Palace perfectly because there should be space in behind. The opposition team will keep the ball. As long as we're solid defensively, we'll have the opportunities. It's up to us to take them, which we've been doing so far in away games.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think we'll get chances in the game. Stan, regarding no Guehi, what would your back three be, and where would each player be positioned? Would you have Richards at left centre back, right centre back? Would you have Lerma in there? What would your preferred back three be?
So I would play Lacroix left, Lerma in the middle, and Richards on the right because he's right footed.
You wouldn't have Lerma. Lacroix plays in the middle every week.
Oh, Lacroix. Okay, so yeah, I'd have what's it called? Then I'd have Lacroix. Lerma left, Richards right.
So you would move Lerma from where he played on Saturday to Guehi's position, or would you just slot Richards back? So you wouldn't want Richards to just slot in where Guehi was. You'd want to switch him back to left centre back.
So where does he play? Sorry, where does Richards play when he is?
Richards plays right centre back. Lerma's been covering him.
Okay.
But now Guehi's out. The left centre back role needs filling.
Yeah. So I would say play Richards right centre back and Lerma on the left, personally. Yeah. And he was fantastic Saturday, by the way. He's got a hell of a leap on him as well. Like he's got a big leap on him. So yeah.
Me personally, I would kind of want to keep the Lerma and Munoz connection, right centre back, right wing back. And I think Richards is very good left centre back and already has a partnership with Mitchell.
He prefers to play on the left too.
TD, what do you think?
Yeah,
I agree. I go with that too. Yeah, because Richards actually prefers to play on the left. Technically, when he's played a lot of times, and I think Guehi being available has supplanted him on that left side because I think Guehi prefers to play on the left too.
Yeah.
So I think Richards has actually done a really, really great job of learning that right side and becoming more comfortable and being okay with being over there because he's done a really good job there because I know that he seems like he had been more comfortable playing on the left, but to acquiesce and accommodate putting Lerma in there, I know Lerma is going to be less comfortable using that left foot in comparison to Chris Richards. So I will put him on the left and then keep Lerma right too.
Yeah. Moving on to the centre midfielders, D, who should partner Wharton? Has Kamada done? Would it be harsh to drop Kamada for Hughes?
I think so. Based on his last performance, we talk about momentum for particular players like Mateta, for example. The more he plays, the better he gets. So I think bringing that alongside and bringing it to not to Wharton, to Kamada, I think it makes sense to start Kamada in this game. If it doesn't work out, you got an option there, who's off the bench. But I think it'll be harsh to drop Kamada after a performance like that. We questioned whether he would struggle physically against Brighton. That wasn't the case, and they've got like physical midfielders. Belieber is one of them, but he just seemed like he held his ground down perfectly fine. And I think it only makes sense, and it's only right to give him this opportunity. Look, as I said, if it doesn't work out, you can always make the sub at halftime or 60th minute, or you can make adjustments alongside it. But Kamada didn't look out of place, so I don't know why we would change him in this game.
Yeah. Looking at the City lineup, against Man United, they didn't play with any out and out wingers. They kind of played very narrow. Stan, would you prefer them to set up like that, or would you be more nervous going up against Doku and Savinho?
I think our fullbacks are quite good though. Like Mitchell, especially, has shown that he can pocket pretty much any fullback this season, right? Or he can play against pretty much any fullback this season. And Munoz, I mean, he does struggle a little bit defensively. He's more sort of bombing forward. I would probably prefer them to not have the two out and out wingers, but yeah, that's just me. I think they'd be better.
What about you, T? D? Would you prefer to be seeing Foden and Kevin De Bruyne, or would you be a bit nervous with Doku and Savinho starting?
It's hard, isn't it? I think the way we set up, anyways, we're very narrow. We are narrow. You see Sarr tucking in, Eze tucking in at times. And I think we'll try to push them out wide. For that reason, if it was Foden and De Bruyne starting, unless they push wide, like, for example, like Lerma does for us at times when he plays in midfield, you see it. When there's no space in the middle, we put our midfielder out wide to pick up the ball in the build-up play. If that was the case and we force him out wide and it was Foden and Kevin De Bruyne there, as long as we deal with the crosses fine, we shouldn't have Haaland there. I would prefer them to go out wide because I think we've got enough players in the air, such as Lerma, Lacroix, and Richards. I think they're all brilliant in the air. As long as the aerial balls come in, we should deal with it perfectly fine. However, when you looked at the Southampton game, we conceded from a cross coming in. Why? I don't want to blame it on just purely on Nathaniel Klein. I think Henderson could have done better, but Nathaniel Klein isn't the same player. So I think if we push them out wide and literally ask them to put crosses into the box, we've dealt with it fine perfectly with some of these players that I mentioned already. So I've got no worries about that. I think it makes sense for Palace to keep it narrow and then see what those players do out wide. Mm-hmm. And if it's a case of Doku and Grealish starting,
Doku and Savinho.
In fact, that could be a bit better for us because I don't think I think they're very good one-on-one players. But if you're asking for cross into the box, Kevin De Bruyne is more of a threat than Doku or Grealish is. So yeah, I think we should be fine in that aspect.
Yeah. Well, statistically, we are the best team at dealing with crosses coming into the box. And I think with a major height advantage against City, I doubt they will be swinging constant balls into the box. So maybe keeping it narrow and forcing them through the middle. It might be I think the goal would be to frustrate them. Talking offensively, T, what type of setup? Like if you was to look back at all our performances this season, what setup and tactic do you think Glasner will go for in a similar way? Maybe like how we played against Villa away. Do you think it will be really tight and spring out, or do you think we might try and press them or try and win set pieces because we've got quite a good height advantage against them? How do you think he will try and hurt them?
Man, looking at this City team, I think we have to be very selective with how and when we press them. Because they got a lot of guys that can unlock an attack very easily, from the Silvas to the Gundogan's to the Kevin De Bruyne's. Like those are really good. Those are guys that really know how to handle a press. So I think we could find ourselves playing more narrow and trying to spring out and maybe trying to force them into trying to cross balls into the box because with who they're probably going to be putting out there, that definitely plays more into our strength and our abilities. But it's always tough when you have a guy like Kevin De Bruyne out there because he can unlock an offense with one pass.
Yeah, he can turn it on all the time.
And he scored some unbelievable goals against us too.
I do believe that he does not look at, I say this with like he might turn up against us on Saturday, but every time I've watched him, he has looked, for me, not even a yard off the pace. Recently, everything, it's like his body can't do what his brain wants him to do anymore.
Minutes have been limited as well. Like I think that's the reason why it's moving on. Pep Guardiola's noticed that, maybe De Bruyne's noticed that. But the only thing is, it makes sense for in this scenario for Grealish and Doku to be on the pitch because, as T's mentioned, and as you said as well, like he might not be on that level, but he can still put in a good cross into the box. But with the other players, Palace, I don't know how they will approach it. Regardless, the way we're talking right now, this game sets, as I said at the start of the show, it sets up perfectly for Palace in terms of what
it's a winnable match too.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing that we understand about this. As good as City has been in the past, and as well as they've done at times during this season, this is a very winnable match for us, even away from home.
And I mean, they are in a fight to qualify for Champions League as well. Like, they've really got something to play for, and
they dropped down to 6th.
A win for Palace could seriously dent that. Do you know what I mean?
If I'm being honest, at the moment, City haven't. I don't think their fans have got much to shout about. So I think it's very important, like Glasner likes to do, to keep it really tight the first 30, 40 minutes. I think frustrating the crowd, also like kind of silencing them, might be really key to this game, because as you know, we struggled when we went 1-0 down against Southampton. If we go 1-0 down against City, we might have to be even more open, and that's when their players can hurt us. Stan, if you was to pick a player from the bench or someone who you don't think is going to start that could really affect the game maybe later on, who would you think?
Probably say Franca. He did it last year, didn't he, when he came on at the Etihad, one of his limited appearances under Roy, and pinged a couple of crossfield balls and just made a nuisance of him. Made a nuisance of himself, made life difficult. I think it was for Kyle Walker at the time, and he looks like he's coming back, and he looks like he's bulked up a little bit as well, and he's trained quite hard. So yeah, I think it could potentially be him. He could make a difference.
Yeah, I think D, out of the starting lineup in our team, who do you think is going to be a massive key player? For me, I think ball retention is really important against a team like City. Not to, as soon as you get it, to then give it away. You have to relieve the pressure, make them win the ball back. So for me, maybe Walter might be really important in this game. Who do you think in our team will be? Will have to be at the top of the.
Think about him, but he hasn't really played at the levels that we know he can play at as well. I'm not saying he has.
No. It's because I think personally, maybe the respect from his opponents and teams have gone up here. They're trying to frustrate him. They're giving him less time on the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, who do you think in our team will need to be really on top of their game for us to win?
We've seen it. Ebbs, he had 2 assists last game, but I think one player that might go underrated in this game is Ismail Assar. We're talking about counter-attacking and spacing behind and using the pace, because that's what City have been struggling with. So I think this game is perfectly set up for Assar, with the defenders pushing up. If we can somehow find the ball over the top for Ismail Assar to run onto, it's perfect. It's like, these are the games that you want Sarr to live up to. I think Eze makes sense with ball retention, and Adam Wharton, of course. But I think realistically, in terms of creating chances and being direct, I think Sarr is probably one of the most important players. If he turns up in this game, he can cause them a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely. I think their biggest weak point is their right side. They're currently playing Nunes there, and if it's not Nunes, it's Rico Lewis. Even though Rico Lewis loves a goal against us, I think he's quite.
Yeah,
he's, I think, 3 out of his 4 goals for City, or 2 out.
Yeah. Pretty much every goal he scored for them is against us. Yeah.
Yeah. T, who do you think will be key for us? Do you think Eze causing them trouble on that right hand side, or do you think it'll be Mateta? What's your thoughts?
I'm going to say Mateta, just because I think that the matchups with their center backs could really favor him in a lot of ways. I think he'll give them trouble, both Vardiol and Diaz. So I mean, and not to say that I don't agree with what D said, because I think Ismail Assar plays a huge part, not only with what he said, but also with the fact that he's going to be our backup striker too. So in the event that Mateta comes off the pitch, you're going to see Sarr move into that center role, where once again, him playing in behind and giving those guys trouble is going to be really important. But I feel like Mateta has a high value here too, and it seems like he's maybe rounding into better form, as what we saw with Brighton too, with the strike that got called back and the actual goal that he scored. So I'm really excited to see what he does against their central defender pairing.
Yeah. D, you see after that massive win against Fulham, we had that little dip against Southampton. Do you think there's a slight worry in the fan base or with you that we might have a similar dip after the Brighton game because it was such an emotional, or are you like Glasman's got these guys switched off?
We've had a whole week. It was a different scenario. We had the Fulham game, then we had Southampton, then afterwards Brighton. I think the Fulham game, in terms of emotion, funny enough, I think the players 100% understand the rivalry between Brighton, but the Fulham games, like everyone knows that you're going to Wembley. Like not all of the players have been playing in these Palace Brighton games. It was like the first one for Eddie and Nketiah, for example. So some of them might not even understand on the same level, whereas Fulham was like universal. I think this game we've got a whole week. And for that reason, I'm not worried about emotions from the Brighton game carrying on because, as you can see, league table, some people may not believe, but it is possible. Mathematically, it's possible. And not only is it possible, like it's more than that. It feels like there is a genuine chance that we could still aim for 8th with the amount of games that we've still got left. So I think the players will be locked in. In fact, I think they'll be even more motivated for this game based on how City have played. Not only just the players, the manager, the fan base, the games are getting sold out. I know it's a lower allocation than normal for the City game and the Newcastle game, but games are getting sold out. Everyone's turning up now, regardless of the times and midweek games and early kickoffs. So I think everyone has that belief. And for that reason, I don't think the players are going to be slacking or going to be, emotionally high from the Brighton game still after weeks pass by.
Yeah. To be fair, if you're one of those 1,550 fans going up to Manchester for an early kickoff away at City, listen, to give yourself a pat on the back because that's a real dedication, and there's a lot of money being spent this month in terms of Wembley days out, Arsenal away, Newcastle away. We've just had Fulham away, Southampton away. Wasn't really too happy about what the club did about the Wembley tickets, but we won't go into that too much. Obviously, it's a 12:30 kickoff, Stan. What do you think winning early doors? It puts pressure on the teams above us. Hopefully we can get out of that 11th spot. We've finally got out of 12. But not at Palace. By 5 o'clock on Saturday,
Brentford have Arsenal.
Brentford have Arsenal, but they're in the kind of Arsenal going to rest all their players, really, aren't they?
Yeah, it could be back into it. Listen, if you go on certain social media platforms, fans of certain other teams think that it's theirs. I think former player of ours came out and said that Fulham have 7 cup finals to the end of the season and it's on and da-da-da. Listen, this Palace team is different to many I've seen for a long time. We have to do something. I wouldn't say that we have to win, but I think get a result up there. And that puts pressure on the other teams, like you said, because then it's over to them. They're going to have to do their thing, right? So let's see.
Yeah. Bournemouth got Fulham. So, we've got 2 teams very close to each other playing. So, they both can't win. Hopefully, I guess for our case, it's a draw. But let's say that game was a draw and then Palace draw as well. It's not like the worst result in the world. So that's why I'm saying, like, it's not necessary that we have to win. But, of course, it's very ideal right now because we've been basically playing catch-up and we've been doing a very good job of it since the start of the season. Let's just say our start of the season was a bit more normal. Maybe won like 2-3 games. Right now would be in a much more of a comfortable position. But despite that, like, I don't think even if we lost against City, like, it's the end of the world because of the games that we've still got remaining. Yeah,
definitely. It's a shame that Brighton have Leicester at home and Villa have.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Listen, but they're going with 1 centre back, so
but Leicester are one of the worst teams I've ever seen in my life.
I agree.
T, do you think slyly Palace are still going under the radar? Because no matter what, when I'm watching, obviously there's like you watch content. When Palace win, I kind of end up watching loads of content, like stick to football. This is what I'll catch little bits. I still not really hearing Palace's name, even with the FA Cup semi-final. Everyone's like talking about Forest, Villa. I heard people saying, it doesn't matter if Villa go out, they can go and win the FA Cup. Do you think we're still going under the radar? And are you happy?
Oh, yeah.
Going under? Yeah,
for sure. I think we're still going under the radar because people aren't going to become believers until it happens, type of thing. You know what I mean? I don't, I mean, especially speaking with like the FA Cup, we still have 2 more crucial wins that we need to get for that to really become a reality. And I think that, if we go to Wembley against Villa and we win that match, then I think the chatter becomes a little bit more of a low pitch rumble. You know what I mean? Not to mention the fact that, you know, when it comes to league places, you know, people really aren't talking about it. It's just because of the run-in that we have with the matches and the teams that we have to get through at the end of the year. So I think it's one of those things where, you know, you're not going to start to hear people really talk about it to really give us the type of respect that could be due until you really start to win those matches. You know what I mean? And make people believers.
Yeah, no, I agree. So let's go on to match predictions. We're going to do one. D's probably going to do three.
No, but Paul Merson, I have to say, Paul Merson has been giving us prop.
Has he?
He's been giving us prop, and I just
see, but that means we're going under the radar even more because no one don't listen to him.
But you know what? The commentator,
I think he's a great pundit. I think he's a great pundit, and he's been giving us prop, so it makes.
You know what? The commentator on Match of the Day, Jonathan Pierce, is meant to be a Palace fan, and he was. I couldn't believe what he was saying.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking, no way can Palace not be first on Match of the Day. I swear we was like third.
Second,
we were third.
Yeah, we was third. It was Villa, Forest, Ipswich, Wolves, and us.
Because I flew out that night, basically that night.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch
But
it.
yes, Stan, I'm gonna come to you first. I need a prediction and I need the goal scorers.
I'm gonna go. Listen, as much as they are not the greatest City team, they're still a good team. They've still got some really good players, and we can't underestimate them. And I think a draw is still a good result up there. City, anything at City away is a good result. And I think it's about keeping our unbeaten momentum going rather than anything else, just keeping that momentum. So I'm going to go 1-1, and I'm going to go with Mateta as the goal scorer.
T?
I believe that we will win. 2-1.
I was actually waiting to drop that line. That's funny. I believe that we will win.
2-1 Palace. I think we get a goal from Mateta, and I think we get a goal from Daishi Kamada.
Yeah, I'd like to see the odds on that.
Mm.
D, how many predictions are you going to give us first, and then your predictions, and then your goal scorers?
What day are we traveling to Manchester?
What's your victory, draw, and defeat scoreline predictions?
We're traveling to Manchester on a Friday, and the weather's nice on Friday, so I think we'll enter there in good mood. But if the weather does change, then that could impact the morale going into Manchester. But I do think right now, as it stands, with everything combined, with the rest period and all the training that's been planned out by Glasgow, I do think we'll beat them 2-1. And Eze will be on the score sheet as well. I can't say the other scoreline. I can't predict the other scoreline. Okay. Well, not the other scoreline, the other scorer. But yeah, for now, I think it'll be 2-1 with Eze. I can guarantee that Eze will be on score sheet. That's the minimum.
I went for the home. By the way, the home tie I got right 2-2, and I'm gonna run it back.
I got the Brighton score right.
Yeah, you did, but you also said Nketiah was. You also said God told you Nketiah was gonna score.
I did say that. I take that on the chin.
I didn't say Nketiah's gonna score. I didn't say. I predicted
it's on tape. You said it on. It's recorded that you said it.
It's on the vlog. Big up everyone that watched the vlog as well.
Yeah, shout out to everybody.
And if you haven't watched it, watch it because it was super.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for 2-2 again. I'm gonna go for Lacroix header again.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna keep saying it until it happens. Wharton and then a backflip.
Maybe if you don't say it, it will actually happen.
It's from that part of the world as well. So
listen, I've
got to say it, and it might happen.
No more Wharton.
Don't say it.
Final. Save it for the final for me, please.
This how you know this guy gets the prediction always wrong. He always says Adam Wharton scoring, and he hasn't still scored yet.
But I'm just trying to put it in the atmosphere. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to
I'm
gonna go.
Do you reckon?
Do you know what? I'm gonna go for a Lacroix goal and a Munoz goal. Yeah. My goal, Munoz.
With defender just scoring.
Defenders at the double.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it for the preview. Good luck to everyone at 10 a.m. tomorrow when 19,000 people try and get a ticket all at once. I've already got mine, but I've done it. Booked my ticket, so I've saved a space for my guy D. because we can't
I
not
don't
be
think you want
together
to
at
say
the
it right now.
semi-final.
I know someone's gonna.
I'm not going to tell you that what block and what row because I know one of you will probably.
Yeah, one of you just book it just for the sake.
Yeah,
of
one of you will just book that seat. But yeah, good luck to everyone. And yeah, that's it. Up the Palace.
Up the Palace.
Price.